dating down or dating below your level. People constantly say, man, if you just date somebody below your level, whether it's if you date somebody who's less attractive, you date somebody who's broke, you date somebody who's just not doing what you're doing, whatever it is, people will say if you date somebody in that situation, then they will treat you better. A lot of times people look up and that's not the case, and they wonder why. Well, if you're going to do that, I totally get it. If you're going to date somebody who you feel is below your level or below where you feel like you should be getting, that's cool. But I want to give you some information just, because you've heard the other way a lot. I want to give you some information to say, maybe you shouldn't. The first reason why you may not want to date somebody below your level is they may not agree. You may think that you are above their level. You may think that you're out of their league. You may actually, to everybody else other than them, be above their level, be out of their league. But they may not agree with you. So you may start this relationship thinking to yourself, hey, I'm dealing with somebody and I'm above their level, so they're really going to appreciate being with me. They're really going to appreciate the fact that we're together. I got a degree from Harvard and they dropped out of school in the 8th grade. I got a 6-figure job and they're making minimum wage. I used to be a swimsuit model, or I used to be Mr. Universe, and they're not really somebody that people are checking for on a physical level as far as I see it. I donate to the church every Sunday, and they haven't been in 6 years. I give to the poor and volunteer at a shelter, and this person is actually, borrowing money from their parents on a regular basis, using the car and not putting gas in it. So clearly I am a better person than them. I am at a higher level than them. But they may not agree, because you got to understand, in life, most of the time people have a tendency to judge others far more harshly than they do themselves. Other people are janitors and they're custodial engineers. You get what I'm saying? They constantly judge people a little more harshly than they do themselves. So that may be the case in this situation. And just because you feel like you're a little bit higher than them or you're out of their league doesn't mean that they're going to agree, and doesn't mean they're going to treat you that way. Number 2, too little. A lot of times you're not going to be willing to do enough to make that person feel lucky to be with you. Initially, they may feel lucky because of all of the things you have going for you, but ultimately, they stop feeling lucky because you're not doing enough to make them feel like it's worth it. They're putting forth all of this effort and feel like they may not be getting enough in return. You may have gone out of your way for people who you thought were on your level or even above, but now that you're dealing with somebody that you feel is below your level, you're not willing to put in any work. So their attitude starts to change. They go from, wow, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, to starting to feel like they don't really want to be in a relationship anymore, and they don't like you and you don't really like them. This could be the problem and the issue in the situation. So you got to think to yourself, would I be able to maintain the proper level with somebody who I don't feel is on my level? Am I going to still be able to do some of the things that it takes to keep a relationship going if I feel like I'm dating down? It's kind of like when you get a job. If you get a job that you feel is a lot lower than the level that you should operate at, a lot lower than where you should be, most people come to that job with an attitude. Most people come to that job and do far less than they've done at other jobs. It's just kind of how it is. When you feel like the job is worth it, you come on time, you work hard, you do everything you need to do. When you feel like it's not worth it, that's the job you're probably going to get fired from. Reason number 3, can't keep it up. The thing you got to realize is people adjust. People change what they feel. And most people want to feel like they deserve everything that they get. It's like when you hire your cousin who really isn't qualified for the job. If you keep them there for about 6 months to a year, eventually they'll stop thinking, oh, good looking out, cuz, thanks for giving me this job. And they'll start thinking, I deserve this job. Not only do I deserve this job, but I'm too good for this job and I need a promotion. You're like, what the heck? I hired you when you don't even have any experience or any skills. I hired you because you're my cousin. People don't want to believe that. People want to believe they deserve everything they get. I'm saying that to say this. When you get in a relationship with somebody, you think that person is below your level, everyone else in the world could agree. They might even agree initially. But as time goes on, they start thinking to themselves, you know what? I'm the catch here. You should be thankful that I'm with you. I deserve to be with somebody like this. And not only that, I could get somebody better. This happens a lot because once you get something, it becomes your normal. It's like you get a new car and you're like, man, I love this car. It's the greatest car in the world. You know, I can't believe I was able to finally afford this car. Then as time goes on, you start looking around and you want other cars, better cars. You think you can get those now. Man, you know what? I really deserve to be driving in a Lambo. Why am I driving in this car? I need a Bentley. You know, I don't understand why I don't have a Bentley by now. You know, like you just start totally changing up. And when you were super happy with the Ford Focus that you bought, now all of a sudden you need to have every type of car in the world. You need to spend $2.5 million on a car to be happy. It's just kind of how people are. It's the nature of humanity. So therefore, instead of washing the car all the time like you were before, trying to put new rims on it or whatever the heck you were doing, now you like, man, I'll wash that car next week. I don't care nothing about that car. And that's how people could treat you. They could go from worshiping the ground you walk on to just basically ignoring you and hoping that they could get something else. Reason number 4, not enough. Sometimes you can just be ungrateful. You get with somebody who you feel is below your level. They do everything that you've ever imagined them doing and more. They are the greatest thing that's ever happened to you. They're the best boyfriend, the best girlfriend, the best person in your life. They've treated you better than anyone ever treated you. They've done things that you never even imagined somebody doing for you. And for whatever reason, it's not enough. Because it's not coming from the person that you have in your mind, the person that you imagined yourself being with. It's just not enough. So the problem in that situation is, it's on your end. You're sitting here thinking to yourself, no matter what this person does, I'm not satisfied because it's not who I want it to be from. I want it to come from this type of person. I want it to come from this person that I dreamed of. I want it to come from my ex who treated me like dirt. Whatever the situation. That often happens, and this causes you not to be in a good relationship, not to be in a happy space with this person, even though they've done everything you ever asked. And number 5, things change. Like my dad always said, nothing stays the same. Things always must change. You either get better or you get worse. But sometimes in life, you get worse. And sometimes it's not even your fault. You got to remember, the way they're treating you isn't because of some connection or some reciprocity based on what you've done for them and based on things that you guys have going back and forth. It's based on the fact that they feel that they have to earn your love because they've accepted the fact that you are higher than the level of person they generally can get. So if something happens and you dip or you fall from that level, their attitude is going to change, justifiably so. Because you've been soaking up all the things you've been getting because of who you are or because of what you are, not because of who you are to them. You get what I'm saying? You've been soaking these things up because you had the good job, because you had the supermodel looks, or you had the Mr. Olympia looks, or you had the great education, or you had the nice car, or you had the coolest family, and you came from a great background, and they wanted to be like you. Well, now things may change. Maybe your family kind of breaks up and they fall into shame. Maybe you lose that good job. Maybe you get in an accident or something like that and your looks change. Maybe you go through different situations like depression and things like that, and that bubbly personality that they super admired and thought was the coolest thing ever and wish they could be like isn't really there on the same level. Once you start showing some level of vulnerability, they may become very disinterested in the good things that they were doing for you, and the way that they treated you in the past may completely change. They may go from, I'm worshiping the ground you walk on, to now I'm kind of looking down on you and don't even want to be in a relationship with you anymore. I'm looking for the next shiny thing in front of me. Because in life, most of the time, we go down in some areas and up in others. That's just how it is. We may get a better job, but we may gain a little weight. We may get a worse job, and we may look a little better physically. We may gain a little weight and look amazing because we gained a little weight, but unfortunately our family situation is messed up and we don't have that good family for people to look up to anymore. Things change, and that could change your whole situation, your whole relationship status.